tearing homes apart.
You could feel it pick the house up a little and just kind of shift it. You have to stay calm or you'll just be a big mess too, and that's not good.
What families did to make sure they survived.
New evidence emerges in the case of a young woman who disappeared from Hartsfield-Jackson Airport and whose body was found in a river 3 counties away.
Serial bombers have targeted Atlanta not just once, but twice. Why a lead investigator here believes the Texas bomber will be caught too.
Live from Atlanta, 11 Alive at 5 starts now.
Our top story, the staggering destruction left behind from last night's powerful series of storms. Within the last 5 minutes, the National Weather Service has confirmed at least 3 tornadoes touched down, one in Fairburn. 11 Alive Sky Tracker flew over the neighborhood earlier today as families attempted to piece their lives back together.
The other 2 tornadoes just confirmed in Haralson County in West Georgia near the Alabama state line. Straight line winds also caused a lot of damage there with several trees knocked down.
We have team coverage tonight showing you this was not your typical storm system. We are going to begin with Joe Hankey. He is in South Fulton County right now where that tornado has now been confirmed.
Well, Jeff, I talked with a meteorologist from the National Weather Service. He tells me last night they spotted the tornado on radar, and then a crew came out here today. They saw the damage on the homes here behind me. They also spotted trees completely ripped out of the ground, and then other trees like these, which snapped in half. That is all they needed to see to confirm that a tornado did touch down here in Fairburn. We're still waiting to hear the intensity or the strength of that storm, but it appears no one was injured in the damage. It stretches on for block after block. As you come into the Chestnut Ridge neighborhood, the first thing you see is here on Campbellton Fairburn Road. Power lines are down for several blocks. You can see those trees in the distance. They were snapped in half during the storm, and these crews are working hard to get the power back up now inside the neighborhood.
The house just started shaking, and
people living in this South Fulton neighborhood say the storm moved in quickly.
No warning at all.
Leaving them little time to find a safe place.
You can see we just built a door.
Thomas Grant and his wife built a shelter under their staircase 3 years ago just in case a tornado ever came their way. And last night they needed it.
It was like a good 20 minutes. Yeah, you can feel the house was shaking and you hear that zzz.
And as the storm passed through the neighborhood, debris started flying everywhere, including large pieces of wood like this, which went several feet into this home. The National Weather Service today confirmed a tornado ripped through this part of South Fulton County, remained on the ground for a short time, moving a couple miles at most. And after the storm left the neighborhood, people came out of their safe places to try to see how bad the damage was. At this home here, it ripped the wall completely off of a bedroom.
I knew it was serious.
Ontario Alvarez lives in one of the dozens of homes torn apart.
And I walk outside.
He showed us where the winds ripped the wall off his mother's kitchen. Alvarez waited out the storm with his family in a bathroom, and thankfully everyone made it out safe.
Yeah, it's good. It's a blessing. Yeah, because we thought we was dead for sure.
In less than 24 hours after the storm came through this neighborhood, several homes are already being boarded back up and tarps are being put on the roofs to protect them with more rain in the forecast. Rain, which is not welcome as many are still in shock as they look through the damage. And where I'm standing, this neighborhood, the Chestnut Ridge neighborhood, is the center of where that tornado touched down. But as you drive out further here in South Fulton, even miles away, you still see damage from yesterday's strong winds which passed through. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Those are amazing pictures. Joe Hankey for us reporting now. Downed trees and power lines still litter Haralson County tonight. The National Weather Service was out there today. They were surveying the damage up close. 11 Alive's Bill List spent the day with their meteorologists in Buckhannon. He has the very latest for us. Bill?
Well, Jeff, we spent the day out here in Haralson County with the National Weather Service as they surveyed all of the damage that was here. They're still trying to put together the puzzle as to what happened, either tornadoes or straight wind damage. We have confirmed just a few moments ago that there were 2 tornado hits that did hit Haralson County. They've both been confirmed. One was an EF1, winds of up to 95 miles an hour. The other one was an EF0, which would have winds basically at 85 to 90 miles an hour. Now, there is extensive damage here in Buchanan, as you can see from this house that sits right behind me. A team with the National Weather Service crisscrossed Haralson County with carefully surveying the damage in an effort to separate the wind damage from tornado damage. They were matching radar images that they took last night into what exactly was happening. Now, the big question was it a tornado or straight winds or a combination of both that slammed into Georgia from Alabama? And as we just told you, we were able to confirm 2 tracks here in Haralson County, one an EF1 and one an EF0. Keith Stellman, the National Weather Service chief meteorologist who works out of Peachtree City, led the team. He's still piecing that puzzle together. He called this one quite challenging.
If we see a track that's, oh yeah, that's tornadic, we'll pull that out and separate that and begin that process. But it may take a little while to separate it all.
Have you found that yet? Have you found any kind of an actual tornado track?
Possibly back in Buchanan. There's a signature on radar that correlates with the damage back there that looks more tornadic. That may be more tornadic. This possibly here that we're looking at here, there's stuff through Tallapoosa that's difficult to try and separate, but that's the part of the puzzle we're trying to figure out.
Well, as we just told you, there were 2 confirmed tornado hits here, one at EF1 and EF0, and the rest of it straight wind damage in Haralson County. Reporting live from Buchanan, Bill Liss, 11Alive News.
I'm Jennifer Leslie in Haralson County, where there is so much damage and debris that school leaders decided bus service would be impossible today. So they called off classes.
It was windy. We heard the hail start.
The storm made quite an entrance on the way to Sarah and Frank McIntyre's home in Buchanan. And then
it sounded like somebody had literally set a bomb off in the bedroom. And it was the tree landing.
Tree dropped, shook the house.
Yeah, the tree's actually laying on the roof over our bedroom, which is where we were standing.
2 more trees fell a few doors down, trapping a father and daughter inside their home. They had to be rescued and rushed to the hospital, but their injuries were not life-threatening.
It started getting really bad, the lightning, the thunder, and the wind.
Casey Ray was working at Deborah's Fleet Oil last night and left just before this giant canopy collapsed.
10 minutes later, I get the call that it had fell down. So it's really scary.
There were so many close calls as trees and power lines came crashing down.
If it would have just fell directly the other way, it would have been on top of our house.
Pretty scary.
Scary. Just the good Lord was with us.
Haralson County 911 fielded more than 400 calls overnight. The damage done, the cleanup just beginning.
The storm traveled west to east, dropping damaging hail, kind of did a zigzag pattern. We're going to start in East Coleman, Alabama. You've heard the term baseball-sized hail. Well, West Sam sent us this picture to prove it. Then the storm headed south and east from there to Harvest, Alabama. Taylor shows us the hail was still very much part of the storm system, leaving divots in the backyard like a golf ball leaves one on the course. Then it crossed into Georgia. This is a shot of Midtown, all that lightning lighting up the skies, and the power was flickering too. Then it moved south. The rain powered on. This is the view from Nikki in Smyrna. She was pointing out the gushing water in her backyard. And then as the sun came up, Jerry Carnes was in Fairburn, where the roofs were taken off homes. This is where that confirmed tornado hit. And a lot of people had that same experience because once the sun came up, they saw the damage in the daylight hours. And you've been sharing pictures from what you're seeing all over the state. There is a full gallery that you can look through those pictures of all the damage on 11alive.com.
All right, let's check in with our meteorologist, Samantha Moore, who is in for Chris tonight. Samantha, what kind of wind gusts were many people dealing with last night?
Well, we had persistent winds at times, some 30 miles per hour, with some gusts that actually peaked up around 70 miles per hour. That's as we saw that line of severe storms, some of which spawned the tornadoes. We're still waiting to hear how they are going to be classified in terms of their strength. And behind it, we are seeing some wind start to kick in along with a few showers. The tornado risk no longer with us. That has moved off along our coastline. But we are going to be dealing with some gusty winds and some off and on showers throughout the night, and then maybe a few flakes flying overnight and into tomorrow across far north Georgia. Yes, snowflakes, as much colder air moves in along with these winds. So sustain some 20 miles per hour. That's what we're expecting to see as we head through tomorrow evening. Gusts up to 35 miles per hour. So any trees that were compromised, any tree limbs that have been weakened by the storms that move through may end up coming crashing down due to the fact that we're going to see widespread strong winds for over 24 hours here. So currently winds are sustained at 22 miles per hour in Atlanta at the airport, 21 in LaGrange, 20 in Thomaston. Those wind gusts right now up to 32 miles per hour in Atlanta, 26 in Peachtree City. So we'll keep our eye on the winds closely, and then overnight maybe some snowflakes starting to fall in North Georgia. And tomorrow, the first full day of spring, looks very cold and windy. More details on that coming up.
Snowflakes, oh my goodness. All right, thank you, Samantha. Tonight, new video showing the last known moments of an airport worker's life just before she disappeared. The search for her ended tragically when her body was discovered in the Yellow River. But tonight, it is still a mystery. How did she end up there? 11Alive's Doug Richards is live in Newton County after talking to investigators this afternoon.
Well, this is, as you said, the case of a young woman whose decomposing body was found by a fisherman in the Yellow River here in Newton County on March 9th. And this was more than a month after she had disappeared from her janitorial services job at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Now, investigators here in Newton County released today some video of her seen at the airport as she was trying to leave her job that day. In just a moment, you will see Shaniqua Sullivan entering from the left, dressed in black, carrying a red bag, toting a purple umbrella. Investigators say that she typically used MARTA to get home, but struggled to get her Breeze card to work on the day that she disappeared. The video doesn't appear to show her trying to use her Breeze card, but it certainly does show her sort of aimlessly standing by the entrance gates to the MARTA station for about 2 solid minutes. And then investigators say she left the area, then spoke with an acquaintance in the airport before she disappeared and was never seen again. We asked investigators whether they suspected foul play.
At this point, we suspect everything. What we're trying to do is find out what happened, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened. There's still a whole lot of questions that we have.
Now, 11Alive News has spoken with Sullivan's family, and because she was autistic, they say that she had a very specific routine and that she would not have changed it willingly. And they are convinced, first of all, that she would never have gotten into a car driven by a stranger, and they are secondly convinced that foul play is involved. Investigators here are investigating it certainly as a suspicious disappearance. They are hoping that by releasing this video today that it will jog some memories of the public about seeing Shaniqua Williams when she disappeared after she left her job at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Live in Newton County, Doug Richards, 11Alive News.
Very sad story, very curious story, too. Scam artists looking to take advantage of storm victims. They're called storm chasers. The warning from the Better Business Bureau that you need to hear if you've got some problems weather-related.
Plus, shots fired inside a Maryland high school. Why the school resource officer is being called a hero tonight.
The state's star witness testifies again today in the Tex McIver murder trial. What she said looked bad for the defendant.
Fly some helicopters to rob some banks. So my dad, that's what he did.
And a decorated war hero turned convicted bank robber. His fall from grace and why his daughter said it all could have been avoided.